Once again, it's on. Hey, it's yours truly, Lorenzo Ice T. Thomas of the Sports Brothers. And it's now time to talk about some Miami Dolphins football and the NFL draft. All right. So let me just preface this by saying this will be my breakdown. It'll be my opinion. Okay. So some of you may like it. Some of you may, and I am not an expert. Okay. I'm a fan like most of you, but fans got opinions too. So we want to let people know exactly how we feel. Right. So of course, you all know the 2021 NFL draft went down in Cleveland this past weekend. And for NFL fans worldwide, the event, well, it did not disappoint. All right. For Miami Dolphin fans, it's been the moment we have been waiting for ever since the season ended. So big ups going out to the Miami Dolphin fans out there. We have so much to be proud of because in 2020, we finished the season with a surprising 10-6 record. That's right. A record that went 10-6. And then you turn around in the draft and we're sitting at number 3. Thank you, Tunsil. The number 3 pick overall in the NFL in the 2021 NFL draft. So that was a big thing for us and we Dolphin fans. And of course, when you look at Flores and Greer, they're always gonna draft players that are team leaders, high character guys, and basically guys that are able to bring people together in the locker room. So you can look for that when it comes to the players that the Dolphins select in this draft. So in round 1 at pick number 6, the Miami Dolphins select wide receiver, Alabama, Jalen Waddle. And of course, the crowd went wild. It went crazy. It was bananas. And as I say, this breakdown is my breakdown, okay? And I will have in here sometimes some hindsight and what ifs, okay? That's how it's going to go down. So, like, after the smoke cleared, right, and Chris Greer, you got to give him big ups, got to give him props. He was basically dominating the offseason with all the wheeling and dealing that he was doing. The Dolphins held the number 6 pick, all right? And they selected Jalen Waddle, who is fast, explosive. He can take the top off the defense. He can take it to the house. He can go from 0 to 100 real quick. He's a punt returner, and he fills a void at the slot. And, of course, statistically, you remember last year, the Miami Dolphins wide receivers were some of the worst in the slot last year. So Jalen checks all those boxes, and the Miami Dolphins fill that offensive need. And as from the beginning of the offseason, we all knew that the Miami Dolphins were looking to find weapons for Tua. And the Dolphins, well, they have done precisely that. Now, when the Dolphins go 5 wide, it's going to be bananas. They're going to have Devontae Parker, Mike Gesicki, Will Fuller, Preston Williams, and now you add Jalen Waddle, and that's going to scare defenses, especially when Waddle and Fuller line up right next to each other. So, the Dolphins really have to figure out what they're going to do with Jakeem Grant, Albert Wilson, and Allen Hurns, because I think Jakeem counts about $4 million against the cap, and Albert Wilson, he did take a pay cut. I think he's about $2 million. But the thing about Allen Hurns is there's a lot of dead cap money. I think his money counts dead money is higher than his salary, something like that. I have to look into it to get the details. But, the Dolphins are going to have to do something with those players. Great selection. But in hindsight, what if now this is a selection? Don't get me wrong. Jalen Waddle's a good pick at number 6. But what if the Miami Dolphins had stayed number 3? What if they'd stayed there? Who would we have picked? I hear you. Loud and proud, it would have been Kyle Pitts, of course. You know that. And you have to wonder, you have to second guess, you have to play Monday morning quarterback when it comes to this draft and the selections because of all the maneuvers that were done. If the Dolphins stayed at 3, we would have a generational talent that was the best non-quarterback in the draft. Okay. And even we could have picked Jamar Chase if we wanted to, or even some people say we should have selected a quarterback instead of going with a non-quarterback. So, with all of that being said, I have to admit, Jalen Waddle is the perfect fit for this Miami Dolphins offense. All right. But to justify the move, he's got to play like Tyreek Hill. He's got to do that. When you look at all the moves that were made this offseason, he has to play like that. So, but I think overall, Jalen Waddle, number 1, I give it the number 1 draft choice, or at the number 6 position, I give him an A. I give him an A- for that draft position. So it is good, but you have to also say what if. Now, the next pick in the first round, number 18, the Miami Dolphins select Jalen Phillips, defensive end from Miami. This again is an excellent selection that satisfies a severe severe need for the Miami Dolphins. And Jalen was the number one rusher on the Miami Dolphins board. I mean, he has a motor. He's relentless on the edge. I mean, he actually, if y'all remember the reports, he destroyed his pro day. I mean, he was better than anyone out there. And it fills a desperate need at the edge that Brian Flores needs on this defense after trading Shaq Lawson and getting Bernard Rick McKinney. All right. So that's where the void was. Now, the problem with that is Shaq had just signed a 3-year, $30 million deal just last year. So, to get cap relief and improve the linebacker position, the Dolphins moved on from Shaq Lawson. And then to fill that void, they drafted a younger, faster, cheaper replacement. Now, if he overcomes his injury concerns, will be an excellent pick for the Miami Dolphins. And I also give that one an A-. And he could also be as good as our very own Jason Taylor. Yeah, I know I said it. He could be that good, but they decided to go with him because there were some other edge rushers available, but the Dolphins decided to go with the player from the U, and Canes fans should be very, very happy about that. All right. Of course, I got to say, in hindsight, what if? Was it a good move? Did the Dolphins overspend and make a mistake in free agency in 2020? Just 1 year. Now there's a massive void at the edge position. Because of that, the void that's there, the Dolphins felt as if they need to get the explosive Jalen Phillips. We did gain from spending that much money last year. We won 10 games, and this team is heading in the right direction. But because of all that money, now there's a void. And because of Shaq Lawson's absence, had he played up to his contract, the Dolphins probably wouldn't have a void at the edge. And if he was there, would have been able to draft the player that we all wanted at 18, or a lot of us did, Najee Harris. Now, Najee, according to many, is the number one running back on the board, right? He's drawn comparisons to Derrick Henry, Matt Forte, and even Franco Harris. And I have to say, as a fan, this was the move I wanted. I know I'm not alone. Trust me, this is my breakdown. And I still think we should have taken Kyle Pitts, stayed at 3 and taken Kyle Pitts and take Najee Harris at 18. And after that pick, there was still more edge rushers on the board without injury concerns. So, we'll have to see how things develop over the years. It's a great pick, but you have to say what position the Dolphins would have been had they stayed at 3. Okay. In the second round, at number 36, Javon Holland from Oregon goes to the Miami Dolphins. And at this point of the draft, the selections, the Dolphins are getting the best players that are on the board. They're definitely winning this draft. And this selection has Brian Flores' name written all over it. Here is the 2021 Mika Fitzpatrick. Yeah. However, this guy doesn't mind being a Swiss Army knife that plays all over the field and can return punts. He's versatile. In fact, he can play man-to-man. He can cover the slot. He can rush the passer, which, of course, we love the blitz. So we got him. And the Dolphins indicated he was the number one safety on the board, and they got the man. And if you can remember that game against Buffalo and Kansas City, Miami had problems covering the coursing patterns with the addition of Justin Coleman and re-signing Nick Needham. The Dolphins had plenty of covers. And then you add this guy, man, the signing of this guy may have an impact on Bobby McCain, though. Bobby has $6.4 million non-guaranteed salary. That's his salary. So the Dolphins, we're trying to find room under the cap. So that's going to be an interesting pickup for the Miami Dolphins. In hindsight, 36. Shall I really break it down? The Dolphins said Javon was the number one safety on the board. So I give the selection, don't get me wrong, I give it an A. All right? Nah, but I got to give it a B+ because what really pissed me off about this selection? And they were prepared for it because you could see how they maneuvered, but they got outmaneuvered. Well, last year they waited on the running back. Remember when Baltimore picked J.K. Dobbins right in front of Miami, and then we didn't get a running back last year? And then this year it happens again. And I believe we were going to select Javonte Williams at 36. It is a need. Yeah. I've heard people say we don't need a running back. But if we had picked Najee Harris or Javonte Williams, y'all would say, yeah, y'all be all happy about it, right? Right? Yeah. And then I've heard some of you say, well, Flores, he's from New England. And, the running backs had running back, the New England had Patriots running back by committee and blah, 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 blah. And it worked for them. Yeah, it did work for New England. New England also had a great QB who was a serious threat at play action. They also had a dominating offensive line. So that worked for them. We don't have that right now. I think we can get there, but we don't have it now. So that's what really made me mad, because I was upset about the Baltimore Ravens jump last year. And then again, it happened this year when the Denver Broncos made a trade with the Atlanta Falcons to pick move right in front of us. And they knew we were going to pick Javonte Williams. I was so mad because I wanted the running back, right? And a running back is weapons for Tua. A running game, that is a weapon for Tua. I heard and read multiple reports that the Dolphins attempted to trade back into the first round and select Najee Harris. And if that is correct, and the Dolphins wanted Javonte Williams at number 36, you got to say, yeah, they want to upgrade the running back position. You have to at least say that to yourself. It is a need if those reports are true, and they really try to do that. So it's not fair to say that the Dolphins don't need a running back. Yes, as a fan, it's personal. I took it personal when the Denver Broncos traded right in front of us, knowing we were about to, there was a high possibility we were about to draft a running back, because everyone said we needed a running back. But since we did miss out on the running back, and, they didn't trade away the farm to do that, it says that the team does have confidence in Miles, Ahmad, and Malcolm. So, with that being said, we can, and when that happened, you had to say, you notice how quick the picks were coming in. I mean, they were so prepared for that after Javonte was gone. Before you know it, the pick was in, and Chris Greer and Brian Flores were so prepared for anything, and they selected Javon Holland. And it is an excellent pick based on how the draft developed. So that's another player that may be starting on day one. So you have to give the Dolphins credit for that. Now, round 2, pick number 42, Liam Eichenberg, all right, offensive tackle from Notre Dame. Now, after the Broncos jumped in front of the Miami Dolphins, right? Remember that happened, right? Chris Greer and Brian Flores weren't taking any chances on missing out on a player that they coveted, right? They didn't want to take that chance so much that they traded a 3rd-round pick in the 2020 draft to move up from 50 to 42 to select Liam. And the thing about Liam is that Flores loves players that have versatility. He played left tackle. He played left tackle, but he has the ability to play right and left tackle. And he may be the player that is protecting Tua's blind side. I grade this selection a B-. In hindsight, what if? I really can't play Monday morning quarterback with this selection. But yes, I can. Giving up a 3rd rounder in 2022 means that Liam needs to start right away. I mean, we may never know if the Dolphins really wanted to move up for 36 to secure Javonte Williams. But they made sure they got Liam, the offensive tackle. They gave up an extra pick. And even when analysts said that his ability to, to use leverage and work with his hands and makes you wonder if he would succeed. I mean, some analysts said that he's kind of weak in those areas. So, and then we even had, a need for the center position that needs to be upgraded. But Landon Dickerson was gone at 37. Trevin Jenkins was gone at 39. And I also liked Aaron Banks too. But he plays guard, so we're probably set right there. Creed Humphrey, I think he was still on the board, but I think Michael Dieter, who's been working out at center on our team, could replace the center we got from, I forgot his name right now, and build the depth that we need. So, I mean, the Dolphins have attempted to upgrade the right tackle position the entire offseason. They signed Isaiah Wilson, right? And he decided that he preferred to ride around in the car shirtless and dance on top of him. We also got DJ Flucker, who is a good lineman. He's good. He adds depth. And Liam is a great pick that fills a need. And he, from what I heard, he hasn't given up a sack in like 2 years. And Tua would definitely love to hear that. All right. As we move on to the 3rd round, number 81 overall, Hunter Long from Boston College. Tight end. Oh, wow. Now, let me break this down for you. The 2020 season was an all-timer for the Miami Dolphins tight ends room. On a whole, let me give you the stats for the tight ends, all right? Combined, 91 receptions, 1,661 receiving yards, both franchise records for the position, 11 touchdowns. All right, 11 touchdowns. Plus, in the offseason, we signed tight end, H-back, fullback, Sethian Carter from the Bengals. So that's another player. So when the Dolphins selected a tight end, Hunter Long, we all said, we don't need a tight end. I mean, he's not Kyle Pitts. But yes, it was a surprise. However, when I heard Hunter Long led college football in receptions at the tight end position, more receptions than Kyle Pitts, and Brian Flores coached him at the Senior Bowl, I said, okay, all right, I'm not going to second guess this. If Flo coached him, then I know he's a character guy. And if you know this Miami Dolphins organization, they're always looking ahead. They're always looking to sign players. Remember when we were 0-7 2 years ago, they were getting people off the waiver wire. Next thing you know, we finished the season going 5-4 down towards the end of the season. And this move could be because they're looking ahead and they may have a problem trying to re-sign Mike Gesicki next season. So it's insurance. We have depth at a position that's been very productive, and we have upgraded, and it gives Tua another weapon. In hindsight, what if Michael Carter was still on the board? Trey Summon, running backs, was still on the board. Linebacker Jabril Cox was still on the board. But we felt we had to, grab a player. And I'm kind of glad because I thought we would draft someone that we coached at the Senior Bowl. And since, we were looking at Kyle Pitts, and New England will display two tight end sets quite often, we probably want to do the same. And the Dolphins, didn't have a 4th round pick. So, because of the trades with San Francisco and Philadelphia, and they traded that 2021 3rd round pick, and then they wanted to get back into the basically have more draft capital next year. So they basically traded their 5th round pick to Pittsburgh. And so next year they have now 2 4th round picks. And basically he was sitting around forever waiting for the Dolphins to pick again. And then in round 7, the Dolphins went ahead and picked at number 231, Larnell Coleman, offensive tackle, UMass. It was so cute. I don't know if you had a chance to see. It was so cute when Coach Flo had his sons announce the pick. So, he's one of the best. I don't know if you saw the interview with him and the writer from the Sun Sentinel, Saeed. I think that's his name. I don't want to butcher it. But when they were talking about basically having a fashion show face-off where, they'll do the runway together. And it's almost like, how can you be critical of this guy because we love him so much, So, just got to love Flo. And they do know what they're doing. And like in the 7th round, the 244 overall, Gerard Dokes, running back from Cincinnati. Now, if you remember last year, Malcolm Perry was selected in the 7th round, and he made the team, and he also made a few plays. So who's to say that this brother may not make an impact? All right. You got to beat Mal Gadsden's out and Malcolm. But you know what? I think he might end up replacing Patrick Laird. Yeah, and Patrick is still in the doghouse for fumbling the ball in a couple of games. You remember those games where he fumbled the ball. So that brings us to the end of the draft. The Miami Dolphins, overall, I have to give them a B+ grade. And when it's all said and done, when you go back before the trade, you have to ask yourself, was it a good move? Should we have stayed at number 3? The draft capital that remains after that transaction is just one number 1 draft choice from 2023. We have San Francisco's number 1 from 2023. That's all we have left from that trade. There's no 3rd rounder, no 1st rounder next year. All right. And it all depends on how well the 49ers played, because we traded our pick to the Eagles. So if the 49ers ball out this year, we're going to be at the end of the draft. All right. If we ball out, they'll be at the end of the draft. All right. So that's why this one right here was so crucial for us to get it perfect. Now, and I must say that I am thrilled with the draft. I'm thrilled with what Chris Greer and Brian Flores have done. When the smoke clears and you see we stayed at 6, I'm happy. Dolphins, we know what it was like under previous administration. These guys get it. These guys know exactly what they're doing, and they get it. So we're not mad about that. But the only thing is maybe Chris got a little too cute maybe, maybe. We know he knows how to manipulate the draft. We know that, and he's going to continue to do so. But a lot of selections, when you really think about it, I think a lot of selection had a lot to do with money. I think it was money. Like, instead of paying the number 3 pick, we're paying the number 6 pick. Trading the 5th round selection in this year's draft to get draft capital and next year because, we're trying to get money to sign all the rookies under this year's cap. So when it's all said and done, that could have been the method to his madness. That could have been the reasons why he made some of those trades. They'll probably never tell us, but those are probably some of the main reasons because, we're fighting to, get these rookies under the cap. So, well, they did sign 2 unrestricted college free agents from Middle Tennessee State offensive lineman Robert Jones. Welcome to the Miami Dolphins. And also from Indiana, defensive tackle Jerome Johnson has joined the Dolphins as well. We got some big boys, some beef, and they could definitely help us out in the trenches because we all know that's exactly where the game is won. So when it's all said and done, I have to say I trust the process. I've been a longtime Dolphins fan. I am invested. All right. Blood, sweat, tears, and finances. So, I can question some of these decisions and you can too. So, and I have to give the Dolphins draft overall a B+. Now, why didn't they get an A? Well, first, let me say they filled needs. They selected players that are going to start day one. And that's what you want from the draft. So, provided how the draft fell, they were able to get players that are also going to add some depth. They're already a good team, and they got high character guys. So that's why I give it a B+ because of how everything fell. But this could have been the greatest draft ever. Don't get me wrong. It's a good draft, but I wanted a great draft. What if we stayed at 3? Kyle Pitts at number 3. Najee Harris at 18. We didn't get either of them. And we wanted them. That's the thing. We wanted those people. So I got to go back to that. But, and secondly, we missed out on the running back, right? Last year, we missed out on running back because Baltimore selected J.K. Dobbins right in front of us. Then happened again this year. Denver jumps in front of us by trading with Atlanta and selecting Javonte Williams. And we were sitting there. They knew, everybody knew we were going to pick a running back. Everybody knew, How could you let that happen again? The front office has done a great job all off season long. And right here on draft day, that happens again. But what's probably going to happen? They sat there and said, okay, we're not going to trade the farm to do that. We'll sign that free agent running back that we attempted to sign last year, who actually went ring chasing with the Chiefs, Le'Veon Bell. Yeah, maybe he can help. So those were the conversations they probably had, and then we'll probably look for a running back next year. So it's a B+ grade for those reasons. But the selections of Waddle and Phillips, I love. But I sure would have loved to get Pitts and Harris. I would have loved it. Anyway, well, that does it for this edition of the Miami Dolphins Draft 2021. My name is Lorenzo Ice-T Thomas of the Sports Brothers. Until next time, peace and be wise. I'm gone. See ya.